I thought this was funny, speaking of the Catholic Church, and then there's more to talk about my dad. But M. Dixon tweeted out, the new pope says gay adoption is child abuse. Well, if there's one thing the Catholic Church knows, it's child abuse. Nick Turner, the great thing about Catholicism over Islam is that Catholics get the 72 virgins while they're still alive to enjoy it.
Oh, my God.
Funny because it's true. So I write my dad back, and here's what I wrote. Because I figure I got to, right?
Whoa. Is this printed and mailed or emailed?
It is emailed.
Okay, taking a shortcut. Fine. I don't know how serious he's going to take it.
I did not get a response yet, but I do know the email's good because he already said yes to the wedding save the date, which by law, he has to come already.
Well, sure.
So I wrote, Dad, I received your letter mentioning you received a CD of my show that featured me reading your letter. I know you know, right?
I got the letter.
I enjoyed the featured part. We're learning how to write nice emails.
You were featured, Dad.
Did you write the date in the top left and the name?
First off, most people beg to be featured on my show.
A couple people paid a few $100.
Did you really write
on our
that?
Kickstarter?
No. I then went back to hear what I said. Unless your copy was edited to hurt us, which of course is why it's being sent to you, I don't think I said things that were necessarily disparaging to you. I explained, which I'll try to now as well, why these letters from you are so offensive to me. I did disparage the Catholic Church and the idea of God, which I can no longer just ignore as the entire church, and the idea of it offends me. I admit that, and I'll also let you know I do that often. I am an atheist.
Whoa. Is this the first time you're expressing that to your dad?
To be honest, it's the first time I spelled it out so clear.
Whoa.
Pretty adamant.
Yeah.
Okay, for those new people, Keith grew up with a Catholic priest for a father who only gave up the priesthood to marry his hot mother.
Same father, to be clear, that we're talking about.
He had an altar down.
He put an altar in his basement. He had a church at home. We did CCD classes at home that he taught.
What's a CCD class?
It's I forget what it stands for, but you would go to church and then right after, as a kid, you're being taught things about God. If you're too young,
Sunday school, no?
Sunday school, exactly. Yeah. If you're too young, you're drawing a Jesus coloring book, and as you get older, you learn a little bit more, and then you get to 11th, 12th grade, and you start questioning things, and so they cancel. I said that.
By the way, this is everyone on mic is an atheist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is not very usual, right?
Full house.
Yeah.
I remember saying once to my dad, like, it seems like atheists seem to be smarter people. I think I said something like that. And he goes, so you saying all Catholics are dumb? And I'm like, no, I'm saying I tried to talk to you for 1 second. I mean, I just came from church with you. We're on the same side. I'm just noticing something. I said that what is so offensive about your letters is that each one is almost a slap in the face showing that you don't know me. I see how it could be a tough thing to make peace with. And I do mean this, by the way. Tell me what you think. You were put on this world to spread the word of God, and no matter how it hurts me, you still feel the need to show me the way to God. I appreciate how that might be tough. But I don't believe in God, and I certainly don't believe in a church that I find more and more immoral. But I do think that is a point. Like, what if the reason he is here is to tell people about God, especially his family, and I'm saying don't. So how can he listen to don't?
Right.
Right?
But then how could he listen to that sentence anyway? You're talking from an atheist point of view.
Right.
I would think he would just ignore it.
I've tried to tell you this many times in the past, and you'd brush it over like I wasn't being honest, and that deep down I know there's a God, and I needed to look at that part of myself. I do remember that more than once, where I'd say, I don't think I believe, meaning I know I don't believe. I'm like, I don't think I do. He's like, you know there's a God. And I'm like,
Stop being silly.
I'm like, I don't know that there's a God. He's like, you don't know that there's Jesus, not even a God or a higher power. Why are we all here? Or how are we all here? You believe in Jesus, you know it, right? Like, I don't. If we can't have an honest discussion, and I'm like, he goes, I remember an analogy was, how do you know George Washington is real? You've never seen him.
Yeah. You can't see air.
Right. And right. So I said,
I've gotten that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest piece of shit line ever.
Yeah.
You can't see air.
That's the level of thought that goes into these arguments.
Yeah. So he says, you've never seen George Washington. How do you know he's real? And I go, well, you have a very good point. I don't know George Washington's real now. If we can't talk. I said, yes, I thought about being a priest when I was young. I also thought about being a teacher, a bus driver, and a professional four-wheeler rider. I recently went to church with Mom and Mike. I didn't believe in anything going on there, but I figured I could play along. I was sick to my stomach in the first few minutes. Then it got to the sermon, which is about how homosexuality is a sin and will lead to damnation. Now, keep in mind, my brother Mark is gay. Then the basket was passed around, and Mom and Mike each gave $20. It angered me so much. I had to tell myself that no matter what trouble it can bring, I'm going to have to explain this to you and Mom the next time we're together at church that I can't go. At church time. There we go. I wrote that. We're together at church time that I can't go. By walking into a church, I am supporting it, and I can't do that anymore. Now, I did end up, at Catherine's recommendation, to take out my KKK analogy.
Yeah.
Which I was going to write, where I say, where people do go to church just to appease their parents. To me, by walking into the church, you're supporting the numbers, that kind of thing. To me, it's like saying, I go to the KKK meetings, but I don't believe anything they say. That's what my parents are into.
Right.
But I decided not to put that in.
That's a good call. Yeah.
I think that it throws people's perception of the conversation. It like shuts people
It's too
down
much,
when you,
yeah.
Even though it could be a correct analogy, I've gotten where you say something related to slavery or like the Nazis or Hitler. It just,
Right.
Okay, well then that just shuts them off.
Right. I'd like to think that, by the way, in my head, it's matching more and more. You know, you want to start talking about murders? You want to start talking about killing people? I'd like to think that part of you would be proud of me for standing up for what I believe to be is right, just like I was raised. Zing! I actually wrote zing. No, I'm just kidding. I mentioned the letter on the show to A, heal myself, and B, help others that deal with this same problem. I'm not just picking on my dad. People would think I'm a jerk. I instead explained why this is offensive to me. Calling what I do mundane and that my life will only have meaning when I do what you want is offensive. We're now one of those families whose religion is separating us, the opposite of what everything religion should be good for. Maybe someday I'll find God. Meanwhile, maybe we can find each other. Hopefully you can respect how I feel. As for the wedding, the reason we'd like you there is because I can't think of a more important day for Catherine and me, and we want to share it with those we love. It's also important the families get to meet each other. It'd be very, very nice to be able to share it all with you. If you feel uncomfortable going, then I'll need to be okay with that. However, if it is something you'd like to be part of, know that you are loved, and it would be great to see you.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the letter. I love how upfront you are about being an atheist, how clear and direct you are.
Really, president of Atheist Club? You're proud of that?
And now off to the orgies!
And murder.
Well, what's to stop you from murdering?
Nothing anymore.